CTV Calgary, local breaking news.
Good afternoon. Alberta's government is set to introduce back-to-work legislation today, a move that could bring an end to the province's 3-week-long teacher strike. This morning, teachers held another march to demand their issues be resolved at the bargaining table. Class sizes and classroom complexity are the main sticking points. Labor experts say if Bill 2, the Back to Work Act, passes, it could become law as early as tonight, potentially forcing teachers back into classrooms within 48 hours. The Alberta Federation of Labor is warning the government not to invoke the notwithstanding clause with today's legislation.
We're in a really important moment in terms of worker history right now, and we're facing a red line that we can't allow any government to cross.
On her weekend radio show, Premier Danielle Smith said the government must balance the rights of taxpayers, parents, and students. A recount of votes for Calgary mayor is underway. Sonia Sharp formally requested a recount because there are just 581 votes between her and current mayor-elect Jeremy Farkas. The rules state the recount will have to be completed by noon on Wednesday. Sharp's team is also preparing for the possibility of a judicial recount should it come to that. The new mayor and council will be sworn in on Wednesday night. A garage in northeast Calgary sustaining significant damage from fire this morning. It started around 5:30 on Rundleson Way. Nobody was injured. No word yet if the garage or any of its contents are salvageable. The investigation into the cause is underway. And Calgary Fire is still looking into what sparked a house fire in northeast Calgary. It happened just before 2 Saturday morning on Fulton Drive. The residents in the home and neighbors from a few nearby homes got out safely. The fire department moved quickly to keep the fire from spreading. Canada Border Services Agency officers have stopped a massive shipment of cocaine at the Coots border crossing. The CBSA says 77 kilograms of cocaine were found in a commercial truck when it crossed the border from the U.S. on September 25th. That has an estimated street value of $7 million. Once the drugs were discovered, RCMP and Calgary Police launched an investigation. The truck driver, 28-year-old Serge Singh Salaria from Calgary, faces a number of charges and appears in court today in Lethbridge. Food Banks Canada has released its 2025 hunger count, showing a growing crisis across the country. It warns the rising cost of living is pushing more Canadians toward food insecurity. In Alberta alone, monthly visits were up 134% this year compared to 2019. Across the country, there were nearly 2.2 million visits to food banks each month, the highest number in history. 1/3 of food bank clients are children. 8.3% are seniors. 70% live in market rental housing, and nearly 1 in 5 are employed. Food Banks Canada is calling for immediate legislative action around affordability.
One of the things that's driving or a little bit different in Alberta is that there are more people who have jobs who are using food banks. So where the national average is about 19% of folks who use food banks have employment as their primary source of income, in Alberta that's 30%. So it really speaks to the challenges with costs of living.
In some cases, due to lack of donations, food banks are buying their own food to give out and have been forced to limit the number of items users can take. Passengers on a WestJet flight from Calgary bound for Cuba ended up being diverted twice on Saturday. The airline confirmed to CTV News that the flight carrying 157 passengers was diverted once out of caution to perform unscheduled maintenance. The second diversion was to offload a guest who had become unruly mid-flight. All the passengers ended up having to spend the night in Toronto, with the airline providing hotel rooms and food vouchers. On Sunday morning, they boarded a new flight, which finally got them to Varadero on Sunday afternoon. In an email, WestJet apologized for the disruption. The 2026 Calgary Stampede First Nations Princess was crowned this weekend. 19-year-old Reagan First Rider is from the Kainai Nation. First Rider was one of 7 contestants and says she has been inspired by all the past princesses and is proud and honored to have been selected. She plans to spend her reign being a voice for her people and advocating for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
Just want to be able to be a voice for my people and as a whole. I want to fight for everyone and make sure everyone's voice is heard, no matter how far, no matter how small. I want not only Treaty 7 as a whole, but as a First Nation person, I want to be able to have everybody's voice heard, and I want to travel far and touch the souls of many.
Later this week, the 2026 Calgary Stampede princesses will be crowned. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more on the top stories coming up on CTV News at 5 and 6 or anytime online at ctvnews.ca/Calgary.